Use hashtag Michigan to be featured on the show. Hashtag Michigan on Facebook Live, on YouTube. We've got more screens. Have you ever seen this many TV screens in one place? The Chat Sports Screen-a-Palooza, T. I know they're kind of slanted on my side. We couldn't get your second monitor going, but screen. Don't get overwhelmed. But you folks watching, use hashtag Michigan to be on the show. This is our live Penn State, Michigan post-game show, live audience Q&A. Jeff Sari's got our first question. Bothers me. Michigan finally throws the ball more now. Valid point. What have they been waiting for?
Absolutely, James. You know, we seem to have been so predictable all year, and every time we ran the ball this year, or almost every time we ran into, 7 guys on the other side of the field, and we threw the ball when we were forced to throw the ball. Today, we had them off balance almost the entire game. We ran a screen. We ran a running play. They were effective. The guys were running hard. And I absolutely felt like it was a different game plan today. And again, a lot of people talk about, patience. And I guess with Josh Gaddis, some of that's starting to pay off. This was a top 5 defense, and it was a good game plan, and it was pretty well executed. Too bad we had mistakes and didn't make big plays like Penn State.
Big game from Shea Patterson. They had the big plays, those 3 touchdowns in the first half, all on big plays, all on big throws from the quarterback. But I like what I saw from Shea Patterson in the second half specifically. Dizzy D16, Michigan. I did it again. I used hashtag Michigan. Fire Jim Harbaugh if we don't win against Ohio State this season and don't win a bowl game. I'll tell you this. I know a lot of people say the bowl game doesn't matter. I'm calling BS on that. I don't know why that's become a thing where the bowl game doesn't matter, especially under Jim Harbaugh. I don't either, James. 3 straight losses in bowl games. I think the bowl game matters a lot. And if you're going to lose to Ohio State this year, let's say you pull out a win against Notre Dame. Let's say you beat Michigan State. Let's say you pull those games off and you lose to Ohio State in non-completely embarrassing fashion. And then if you have 4 guys sit out and you lose the bowl game in embarrassing fashion there, I think that's a big-time difference going 10-3, then 9-4, and getting your ass kicked in a bowl game there. What do you think?
James, a couple of years ago, I went down to see the South Carolina bowl game, and I can't tell you how long it took me to get over that poor performance in that second half of that game. And last year, we did the same thing. We lost to Ohio State, and then we went down and just didn't show up for a bowl game, basically. At least the South Carolina game, we showed up, I think, for the first half. And it leaves a bad taste in your mouth as a fan. The bowl games are important to me. I remember when Michigan went 3 seasons, lost 2 games, and didn't play in a bowl game. Bowl games are a big deal. They always will be.
Producers in my ear saying there's a lot of chatter right now on Twitter from disgruntled fans saying that Jim Harbaugh should be fired. So we're going to put a question up. The massive production team at Chat Sports has put this up. This is real-time stuff. Should Michigan fire Jim Harbaugh? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I'm saying no because I finally saw Harbaugh tonight. I felt like he was getting on the refs. He was getting in their faces. He was getting aggressive. I know it didn't start out. There was a couple blunders to start the game. He didn't prepare. To start the second half, didn't prepare. But I'm saying N for now. But if they lose next week, I'm going to start changing my tone, especially if they don't show up prepared, especially if guys look like they're just not playing for anything. Because I don't think you've got a Big Ten championship possibility anymore, right? You got 2 losses in the Big Ten. So there's no Big Ten championship. So what are you playing for? Do you lose some guys? Do you lose the team? I'm saying no. What are you saying right now?
Well, James, 2 things. One, I think Wisconsin has a very good chance to beat Ohio State next week. And if they beat Ohio State next week, guess what?
Wisconsin does. Okay, got it. Yeah.
We're playing for a Big Ten championship.
Well, who's beating Penn State twice?
Well, they got to play Michigan State. They got to play Iowa.
Burn.
So I absolutely think there's. The issue with Harbaugh is, the not being prepared is 100% on the coach. I'm so torn on Harbaugh. I know he's got the experience, he's got the fire. I remember I was around, in '86 when the '86 Ohio State game and the guarantee and all that. The guy's got gravel in his gut for sure, but he's lost a little bit the last couple of years, and he needs to bring the fire he brought today, and he needs to be prepared from game 1. Opening kickoff and at the end of a half, the end of a quarter.
Dylan, take a look at that HQ channel. We tossed this question. God's child, will we ever return to glory? And look, I rail on Harbaugh all the time, but I don't like this narrative that Michigan's been so bad under Jim Harbaugh. They've gone into the last 3 seasons. They've gone to Ohio State game 2 of the 3 years. you win and you're basically going to the playoff, at least the Big Ten championship game, which they would have won no matter what. So I don't think Michigan is that far away. I mean, literally, they're like 3 or 4 games away from being a top 5 program consistently. So Godchild's asking that question. What are your thoughts? Is Michigan, will they return to glory? Or like, I kind of feel like we've been this close. Like it's right there.
Absolutely, James. And I think Jim Harbaugh, I still think he's the guy to do it. He's been disappointing. I've lost some confidence in him the last couple of years. But again, I'll go back to the 70s and Bo Schembechler. In several years, I mean, we lost, other than Ohio State, I don't think we lost for 6 years to anybody. And we couldn't win a bowl game.
Yeah.
So, and we were frustrated. We thought, we were subpar, let's say. But, today we take that in a minute. Absolutely, I think we have the resources, we have the name, we have the tradition, and we are close. We all know that the guy Barrett was short a couple of years ago.
JT was short, that son of a bitch.
Should have been in the playoffs.
So you see the screen up there, T. Michigan wins 28-21. I want you guys to subscribe. I cut you off there because we got to get to this read here. The producer's saying, get to the read. We got to make the ad break. So the subscribe read, it's how we do it, T. In the big-time YouTube, Facebook biz, if your co-host is running a little long there with his answer, you got to take him to the next read or else producers start getting tossed out the door, and we got somebody else coming in here. So news, rumors, highlights, grades, Q&A, live post-game shows every week. Link to subscribe below. If you're on Facebook, get over to YouTube now after the show. Easy URL, youtube.com/Michigan TV. I've got coming in from producer that says, my main man, my star, Michael Warnock, coming in with a question here. Mike, thanks so much for watching. How good is Cam McGrone? Does it ever seem like Michigan misses a lot of sacks? I mean, I love Cam McGrone. I think he's Michigan's probably best player on defense, but that sack, the game was mushing together in my head, but in the first half where he came out, was it the first half or was it the second half? I can't remember, but
it was the
he
second
had
half,
that
I think, yeah.
one play where he had a unblocked kill the quarterback, and he missed him, right? And let's take a look at these stats from the defensive line. We'll see the linebackers here at some point too, but what's your thoughts on Cam McGrone, T?
I think Cam McGrone is phenomenal. I think, I know it's third or fourth game or whatever starting. I think he can absolutely be as good or better than Devin Bush, and I know people are going to say I'm crazy. I know people are going to say I'm crazy.
You're smoking some crack, Tom?
The interesting thing with McGrone is you notice his speed north and south. Bush was always east and west. McGrone is north and south. He just seems to go from that middle linebacker spot and get to the quarterback so quickly, and he's still so young in his career. He's got a lot of football to play at Michigan, so I'm very, very high on Cam McGrone.
You see these, let's keep these stats up here for a second, Dill, because we put like the best stat up there. Cam McGrone, 6 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss on that one for him. So he led, co-led the linebackers to 6 tackles, and then Kalik, he had 6 tackles as well. I don't know if he had any tackles for loss. No tackles for loss for Kalik, but interestingly enough, T, Kwity Paye led this team with 10 tackles. So let's go ahead and kick it to another question from 10 mil. So Ken, Dylan, don't forget those Facebook questions. The people at Facebook, they are messaging me right now, and they're saying, we are a second-class citizen on the show lately. You're plugging your YouTube channel. Get some Facebook questions on there. That's what they're saying right now in the comment section. So you better watch out, Dylan. They're coming for you. Where in the Sam Hill, I like that one, Sam Hill, was Daxton Hill? Look, we've been talking about it all game. I just don't understand. Like, I thought maybe he was hurt, but then I'm like, I saw him in on special teams, so he can't be hurt.
Where was he tonight? Where was he last week, right?
You saw a couple weeks ago. He's your best player on – no, you're not your best player on defense. He's your fastest player, I think, on the defense. He's a guy, along with Josh Uche, who played like a son of a gun in a good way tonight. I thought Josh Uche was all over the place. They put him in a bad position, like Mike McCray back in 2017 guarding Saquon Barkley. They had him on KJ Hamler. Like, Josh Uche is basically a defensive end. They play him at linebacker, and he looked like a beast. As you say, the tackle leaders versus Penn State. Kalik Hudson had a good game, but I thought Josh Uche played wonderfully, and I saw a lot of positives out of this game. Look, if they would have lost, and how many friends, your wife, I step out. Ashley, everybody at the house, they're saying Michigan's done for. I'm getting texts saying Harbaugh's about to get 50 dropped on him. This game was over in the middle of the second quarter.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't over. And they fought back. And so if they would have just folded like they did in Wisconsin on the road in what Urban Meyer called the most challenging environment in college football, harder to play at than LSU, They came back and had it down to basically the last play of the game, and I know that Penn State got the ball back.
Absolutely. They fought the whole game. It's a shame we were unprepared. It's a shame when we made all the mistakes because the team fought the whole game, and I absolutely couldn't be prouder of this team. Unfortunately, it's a long trip back from Happy Valley to Ann Arbor, Michigan tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a question here from Dizzy D16. Do you think we should put Milton in for a few plays a game? I don't really know. Yes, but you missed your chance as a Michigan coaching staff. You missed your chance. The chance was against Illinois when you're up 28-0. The chance was against Rutgers when you won 52-0. The chance might have been against Middle Tennessee State or potentially against Army. So the chance is not against Penn State on the road in a whiteout. Unfortunately, it's not next week against Notre Dame. And from there, I know we got another bye coming up, and maybe that the bye week they work Milton, McCaffrey in a little more. I kind of thought McCaffrey, it looked like they were alluding to, the TV station, they might get the word. They don't want to say it yet, but they look like they're forecasters. I thought they showed McCaffrey a few too many times at one point in the second quarter on the sideline that he might be going in, but it didn't turn out that way. But let's take a question here from Seabass. Be honest, do you think Michigan has a chance against Notre Dame and Ohio State? Let's just start with Notre Dame first, right? Because I think next week is Judgment Day for four teams, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, and Wisconsin. You're going to have two teams emerge. You're going to have two, Notre Dame, if they lose to Michigan, maybe that's not the worst thing for them. Maybe they could still make the playoffs. But with how Stanford and USC aren't looking that great, I don't think Notre Dame has enough wins potential against big-time teams. But do you think they can win? I think they can beat Notre Dame, and if they do, and Ohio State loses to Wisconsin, then I don't think it's crazy to think they could beat Ohio State. But they can't beat the Ohio State I have seen this year, which is the best team in Big Ten history. They can't beat that team from what I've seen Michigan do so far this year. So Michigan has to come down to earth if they're going to beat them. What about you? Notre Dame, Ohio State, what's your quick take on that?
Notre Dame, I absolutely believe that we can beat them next week.
Yep.
They lost to Georgia. Georgia lost to South Carolina. I don't think this is as good a Notre Dame team as they had last year, and we should have beaten them last year, quite frankly, on the road. So, yes, I absolutely believe we can beat Notre Dame. I said 31-17. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think we have a better football team. We have the better football team tonight. Yeah,
better than the top 7 Penn State team, a team that's ranked higher than Notre Dame on the road at their house. And you saw the place I'm living in, 19,000 square feet, Beamers, Benzes, and Bentleys at the Yoder house. That's because I'm making so much money sports gambling, and that's because I use the Action Network. You think, hey, who's paying for Mrs. Yoder's plastic surgery? You know what I'm talking about. It's not Chat Sports, it's the Action Network, because I'm tossing so much cash down and winning because they tell you where the big-time sports gamblers are putting their money. They're telling you where the public is putting their money. You can get in on it and have a leg up on the sports books when you make your picks. Go to chatsports.com/deal. Live odds, expert picks, and trends galore, right? Michigan covered the spread tonight, by the way. Trends galore, Action Network, chatsports.com/deal. 40% off their monthly service fee.